Behind your neck, right at the base of the skull, there's a point the ancient Egyptians whispered about as forbidden. Not because it was dangerous, but because it's a switch. A switch that, according to them, could awaken a level of energy and clarity that most people will never experience in their lives. And what if I told you that this knowledge, attributed to Thoth himself, the scribe of the gods, was hidden in plain sight, just waiting for you to find it? Forget everything you know about energy. I'm not talking about caffeine or a good night's sleep. I'm talking about a vital flow that's already there, blocked. In the next few seconds, I'm going to guide you to find that exact point on your body. But I have to warn you, activating it is easy. The real challenge is understanding what happens next. The energy that's released kicks off a process, a chain reaction of revelation the ancients kept under tight lock and key. Stay with me, because what starts with a simple touch to the back of your neck ends with the key to rewriting your own reality, and most people aren't ready for that final step. If you feel like you're ready to access this secret, comment below. The key is with me. The body is a symbol, and those who fail to decipher it walk blindly through their own temple. Thoth, the master of wisdom and the word, knew that true magic wasn't in external spells, but in the activation of internal mechanisms. He understood that in this specific point at the back of the neck, the barrier between the physical body and subtle consciousness is thinner. It's a place where mind and matter meet in a unique way, a biological interface for higher energies. What we are about to uncover is not just a relaxation technique or a wellness trick. It's the first step on a journey to reclaim knowledge that was deliberately hidden, perhaps to protect humanity from itself. The idea of a forbidden point may sound frightening, but the prohibition was, in fact, a form of reverence. It was a warning not to approach it lightly, without proper preparation and intention. Touching this point without awareness would be like dialing a random phone number, not knowing who you're about to speak to. But with the right knowledge, the act transforms. It stops being a simple physical touch and becomes a tuning, a conscious alignment with a frequency of energy that already exists within you, patiently waiting to be rediscovered and used. What you're about to learn is how to turn this anatomical point into a tool for transformation. But to do that, we first need to understand the treasure map that is drawn on your own body. To truly grasp the power contained in this point, we need to set aside conventional anatomy books and open a much older map, one that describes not just the physical body, but also its invisible energy currents. In traditional Chinese medicine, which has mapped the body's energy for over 2,000 years, this exact spot at the base of the skull has a name: Feng Fu, the acupuncture point GV16. For practitioners of this ancient art, it was never just a point to relieve headaches or neck stiffness. It is considered one of the most critical and powerful energy portals in the entire meridian system. Its location is no coincidence. Situated in the depression just below the occipital bone, the Feng Fu is a direct bridge to the brainstem and central nervous system. It's the entry point of the spinal cord into the skull, the supercomputer that governs all the functions of your body. But the secret kept by esoteric traditions goes far beyond neurology. They believe this is the place where the physical body and the etheric body, or energy body, are most closely connected, almost fused. It's a nexus, a crossing point where the cosmic energy of the environment known as qi in China or prana in India, can be absorbed more efficiently. Think of your body as a sophisticated electronic device. It needs energy to function. We get part of that energy from food and air. But the ancients believed we also absorb a subtler form of energy directly from the universe. The Feng Fu point would be the main gateway for this vital energy. They didn't see its activation only as a way to heal illness or relieve pain, but as a method to awaken the mind, to expand consciousness beyond the limits of the five senses and perceive other layers of reality that normally go unnoticed. But why exactly this point? What makes it so special compared to the hundreds of other energy points spread throughout the body? The answer lies in its role as a bridge. It connects the brain, the center of our individual consciousness, with the spine, the channel that distributes vital energy throughout the body. By stimulating the Feng Fu, you're not just sending a signal to the brain, you're opening a floodgate, allowing a greater flow of energy and information to descend through the spine and revitalize every cell and organ, while also allowing the energy of the earth to rise and nourish the brain. This dual function makes it a master regulator of the human energy system. That's why its activation can generate such profound effects, from better sleep and increased vitality to sudden mental clarity and creative insights. You are, in practice, optimizing communication between your biological hardware and the software of your consciousness. It's like improving the speed of your internal internet connection, allowing data to flow more quickly and efficiently, unlocking capabilities that were dormant due to a lack of energetic bandwidth. The ancient sages understood that this point was more than just an anatomical curiosity. It was an evolutionary tool. They knew that by learning to work with this portal, a human being could accelerate their own spiritual and mental development. The question that remains is, if this point is so powerful, why was it given such a poetic and mysterious name? The Palace of Wind and the Lost Inspiration. The key to unlocking the next layer of this mystery lies in the very name that the ancient Taoists gave to this point, Feng Fu. The literal translation is Palace of Wind. For us today, the word wind might just mean a current of air. But in ancient symbolism and the poetic language of the Tao, wind represented much more. It symbolized all the subtle and invisible influences that surround us and shape us. The thoughts floating in the collective unconscious, the waves of inspiration that generate art and science, and even what they considered to be the breath of divine knowledge. Therefore, Feng Fu is not just a point on the body, it is a palace, a noble receiving place where these invisible energies can be welcomed and assimilated. It is our biological antenna, tuned to pick up the frequencies of creativity, mental clarity, and universal wisdom. Think of all the times a great idea suddenly popped into your mind. Where did it come from? The ancients would say it didn't come from nowhere. It was picked up by your Palace of Wind, which received it as a subtle breeze of inspiration passing through. It's no coincidence that Thoth, the figure who started our journey, was the god of wisdom, writing, and communication. He was the master of the divine word, the logos, the creative principle. Thoth understood a fundamental secret that our modern society has forgotten. True wisdom is not created by the logical mind, it is received by an open and receptive mind. The Palace of Wind is our biological receiver for this wisdom. It is the entryway to the stream of knowledge that constantly permeates the universe, like a cosmic radio station broadcasting non-stop. By activating this point, you are not just stimulating nerves or improving blood circulation to the brain, you are consciously opening the doors of your inner temple. You are signaling to the universe that you are ready to listen, ready to receive. It is an act of humility and power, recognizing that you don't need to invent all the answers, but can become a channel through which they flow. That is the true source of genius, of visionary art, and of the discoveries that change the world. But how do you activate a portal like this? If it is a palace, the entrance cannot be forced. It's not about applying brute pressure or careless manipulation. Activation requires more than just a physical touch. It demands a specific alignment of mind, body, and spirit. It is an act that must be done with intention, turning a simple gesture into a sacred ritual, a personal ceremony of opening and receptivity. The technique to do this was passed down through generations, a secret not kept to hide, but to ensure it would be used with proper respect. There is a specific method, a key that combines a simple physical element with a focused state of consciousness, that transforms this point from a passive location into an active portal. This technique doesn't require expensive equipment or years of intense training. It is surprisingly simple, but its simplicity hides immense depth. It is a practice anyone can do, but few know about. And that activation key is what we're about to reveal now. The practical method to finally turn the key in the lock of your Palace of Wind. Now that we understand the location and meaning of the Palace of Wind, we've arrived at the practical moment. How exactly do we open this door? Preparation is just as important as the technique itself, because it aligns your intention. Start by sitting or lying in a comfortable position where your spine can remain relatively upright without tension. Close your eyes and bring your attention inward. Take a few deep breaths, not forced but slow and deep, imagining that with each inhale you're drawing in calm, and with each exhale you're releasing the agitation of the day. With your fingertips, locate again the depression at the base of your skull, the Feng Fu point. Don't apply pressure yet. Just feel the spot. Acknowledge its presence. Feel the subtle pulse of life under your skin, the connection between your head and your body. This act of conscious recognition is already the beginning of activation. You are directing your energy and attention to the portal. Now, instead of using your fingers to press, the ancient technique suggests something counterintuitive and surprisingly powerful: the use of cold as a trigger. Take a single ice cube. The simplicity of this element is part of the beauty of the technique. Lie face down or in a position that allows you to fully relax and place the ice cube directly on the Feng Fu point. In the first 30 to 60 seconds, you will feel an intense, almost uncomfortable cold. Your mind may want you to stop. This is a normal reaction from the body to the sudden stimulus. But if you persist, something remarkable happens. The cold sensation begins to subside and is replaced by a wave of warmth that radiates from the point throughout your head and neck. This thermal shock is the activation key. It triggers a powerful response from the brain. To counter the localized cold, the body sends a massive flow of blood to the region, nourishing the brain and nervous system. More importantly, the brain begins releasing endorphins into the bloodstream in response to the intense stimulus. Endorphins are the body's natural painkillers and create a feeling of euphoria, well-being, and clarity. That's why many people report feeling a wave of happiness and lightness after a few minutes of application. Keep the ice in place for about 15 to 20 minutes. You can hold it with a band or simply relax and keep it there. During this time, continue breathing consciously. Visualize a bright white light entering through the Feng Fu point, filling your skull with clarity and clearing away any mental fog. This is the chemical and physical reaction, the first level of activation. But the true transformation begins when this newly released energy starts to move through your system, because it doesn't remain only in the head. This wave of energy and warmth is not random. It follows the energetic channels that the ancients mapped. Once released from the main gate of the nervous system, it begins to descend, following a specific path along the spine. And the first important energy center it encounters on its downward journey is responsible for our entire capacity to express ourselves in the world. The energy released is now about to flood and purify your communication center, unlocking something that may have been stuck for years. The chakra of truth and the unlocked voice. The powerful wave of energy awakened by the ice on the Feng Fu point does not remain isolated in the head. Like water released from a dam, it begins to flow downward, following the body's energy channels. The first major center this energy encounters on its descent is the neck and throat region, the home of the fifth energy center, known in yogic traditions as the Vishuddha chakra, or the throat chakra. This center, associated with the color sky blue, governs our ability to communicate, to express ourselves creatively, and most importantly, to live and speak our authentic truth. Think about how many times you swallowed words you wanted to say out of fear of judgment or conflict. How many creative ideas have you stifled before they could even be born? Each of these repressions creates a small energetic blockage in the throat chakra. Over time, these blockages build up, resulting in a voice that is weakened, both literally and metaphorically. You may feel a lump in your throat in stressful situations, have trouble expressing yourself clearly, or feel like no one really hears what you have to say. These are signs of a communication center that's not flowing freely. When the vibrant, purified energy from the Feng Fu floods the throat chakra, it acts like a powerful solvent. Emotional blockages, the fear of speaking up, and all the unspoken words that have crystallized in this area begin to dissolve. That's why, after the practice, some people feel a sudden urge to sing, to write, or to have honest conversations they've been putting off. The connection with Thoth, the master of language and communication, becomes viscerally clear. Awakening this point is reclaiming your divine right to speak your truth. With this center unlocked, your communication transforms. Your words carry more weight and clarity because they come from a place of authenticity, not fear. You become capable of expressing your needs, your boundaries, and your desires with calm and confidence. Creativity, which is also a form of expression, begins to flow more easily. The voice that had been trapped by years of conditioning finally finds a path to manifest in the world, and you realize that your unique perspective is valuable and deserves to be heard. Many people who regularly practice the ice technique on the Feng Fu point report benefits that seem unrelated, like a drastic improvement in sleep quality, a significant boost in daytime energy, and a surprising mental clarity. But now we understand the connection. These are the side effects of an energetic system that is being cleansed and realigned from the top down. A clean, unobstructed energy flow optimizes all the body's and mind's functions. However, as incredible as these benefits are, they are only the beginning. They are the result of clearing the channel. The real magic lies in what that clear channel is now capable of transmitting. The energy unlocked in the throat chakra opens the door to a much deeper and more subtle form of communication, a language that doesn't rely on words or sounds. And this new ability to perceive connects us to a much older memory, to whispers from a time and place long forgotten by official history. This journey of energetic activation is not limited to your body or your current life. By opening these internal channels, you may actually be tuning into a frequency of memory that is much older, one that echoes through the millennia. Esoteric legends, those stories dismissed by conventional history as myth, say that Thoth was not originally an Egyptian deity. He was said to be a priest-king, a master of wisdom from an ancient and highly advanced civilization that disappeared in a cataclysm, the legendary Atlantis. According to these accounts, Thoth and a small group of initiates survived the destruction, migrating to different parts of the world to preserve the knowledge their civilization had accumulated. He is said to have settled in Egypt, which at the time was a much more primitive culture and became the catalyst for its meteoric rise. The knowledge he brought was not just contained in physical texts like the famous Emerald Tablet, but also encoded in bodily practices, rituals, and energetic techniques that could unlock dormant human potential. The activation of the Feng Fu point within this context is seen as one of those lost Atlantean practices. It was a fundamental technique taught in the mystery schools to prepare initiates. By stimulating this specific point, you would not only be activating your own life energy, but also connecting to an ancestral field of consciousness, a kind of cosmic internet that some call the Akashic records. This field is said to hold the memory and experience of all humanity, including the civilizations that came before ours. That's why some people, when practicing this technique, report experiences that go beyond physical well-being. They may have flashes of insight about ancient knowledge, feel a strange familiarity with symbols or philosophies they've never studied, or experience a profound sense of belonging to a lineage of wisdom keepers. These are not hallucinations, but access to deeper layers of your own consciousness, which in turn is connected to this field of collective memory. This newfound clarity and this connection to a deep past are just the beginning. They serve to prepare you for the next step. True power does not lie in simply accessing ancient memories, but in what you can do with that awakened energy and expanded awareness in the here and now. The activation of Feng Fu and the cleansing of the throat chakra are like tuning an instrument and learning to read the sheet music. Now you're ready to play a song that can influence reality itself. And that brings us to the most shocking and central revelation about the true identity and purpose of Thoth. The connection to Atlantean wisdom is just one step on the ladder. What lies at the top is an understanding that redefines not only who Thoth was, but what human consciousness itself is capable of becoming. The truth about him is the key to understanding the next and most powerful form of communication that is now opening up to you. The shocking truth about Thoth and the language of light. Now we arrive at the central point that connects all the threads of this journey, the revelation that transforms this practice from a wellness technique into a tool for the evolution of consciousness. Modern interpretations of ancient texts, such as the Hermetic writings, combined with esoteric traditions and even channeled accounts, describe Thoth in a radically different way from popular mythology. He would not merely be a god of the Egyptian pantheon, but a cosmic consciousness, a highly evolved being of light, possibly originating from a star system like Sirius. In this view, Thoth would be part of a collective of consciousnesses tasked with guiding and seeding evolution on developing planets such as Earth. His mission was not to be worshipped as a god, but to act as a teacher and a genetic and spiritual engineer, embedding codes of knowledge into the DNA and consciousness of early humanity to accelerate their potential. The wisdom he left behind, including the activation of the Feng Fu point, would be a user manual enabling humans to activate these codes on their own when ready. Within this context, the activation of Feng Fu takes on a completely new meaning. It is seen as a software upgrade for our biological communication system. The awakened energy, now flowing freely, begins to sharpen your intuition to a level that borders on telepathy. You begin to perceive things differently. Instead of relying solely on linear logic, you start receiving downloads of information, complex insights, solutions to problems, and deep understandings that arrive in your mind fully formed, without a step-by-step thought process. You become more sensitive to the energies around you. You start perceiving the true intentions behind someone's words, sensing the vibe of a place, knowing things without knowing how you know them. This is the language of light, a form of direct, soul-to-soul communication that transcends the barriers of verbal language. It is the ability to communicate and receive information through frequency and vibration, not just through sounds and symbols. It is the native language of the universe, and you are beginning to remember how to speak it. This connection with what could be called the universal mind or cosmic consciousness reveals a surprising truth about the nature of reality itself. You begin to realize that the world is not a collection of separate objects, but a unified field of energy and information, and that your own consciousness plays an active role in shaping what you experience. This realization is not new. It is, in fact, the foundational principle that the ancient sages, led by Thoth, encoded in one of the most mysterious and legendary texts in all of human history. This text, which has survived for millennia in fragments and translations, contains the formula for understanding the relationship between the Creator and the creation, between the universe and you. It explains how an act performed within your own body, such as the activation of a single point on your neck, can mirror and influence the vast processes of the cosmos. Understanding this principle is what allows you to move from being a passive receiver of reality to an active participant in its creation. The connection you've established with the language of light leads us directly to the heart of Thoth's wisdom, encapsulated in a text as brief as it is profound. The Emerald Tablet. The most famous and central phrase of this legendary document, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the Greco-Egyptian fusion of Thoth, is a code that unlocks the understanding of reality. That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below. This is not a poetic riddle, but a precise formula describing the fractal nature of the universe. This Hermetic axiom reveals that the microcosm, you, the human being, is a perfect reflection of the macrocosm, the universe. There is no real separation. The same laws, patterns, and energies that govern the dance of galaxies and the formation of stars also operate within your body, your mind, and your consciousness. Every atom in your cells was forged in the heart of a star. Your nervous system resembles the networks of galactic filaments. You are not in the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself in human form. By activating the Feng Fu point, you are performing a microcosmic act that mirrors and influences a greater cosmic process. You are, in practice, aligning your personal nervous system with the vast neural network of the universe. The personal transformation you begin by awakening your inner energy is not an isolated or selfish act. By the principle of correspondence, that change reverberates outward, contributing to the evolution of the planet's collective consciousness. Every time one person awakens, they raise the frequency of the entire field. Understanding this principle changes everything. You stop seeing yourself as a helpless victim of circumstances and begin to realize that the universe is not happening to you, it is happening through you. Your external reality is a direct mirror of your internal state. If your inner world is filled with chaos, fear, and limitation, your outer world will reflect that. If you cultivate peace, clarity, and abundance within, the universe has no choice but to reorganize external reality to match that new vibration. You have activated the point. You have awakened the energy. You have cleared the channel of communication and now understood the fundamental principle that governs creation. You have the tools and the instruction manual. However, possessing knowledge is not the end of the journey. Now, you must face the guardian of this power, a final test that determines whether you are truly ready to use it. And this test does not take place in a stone temple or before an external being, but in the silent corridors of your own soul. Before the power can be fully released, your motivation must be weighed. Ancient wisdom has always included safety mechanisms to ensure power would not be misused. You are about to encounter one of those mechanisms, a judgment that does not seek to punish, but to ensure the purity of your heart. This is the test that separates the mere knower from the true sage, and it happens in a courtroom where you are, at once, the defendant, the judge, and the jury. The final test of the heart. In the ancient Egyptian texts, such as the Book of the Dead, there is an iconic scene, the weighing of the heart ceremony. After death, the soul of the deceased was taken to the Hall of the Two Truths, where their heart was placed on one side of a scale. On the other side was the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth, justice, and cosmic order. Thoth, the divine scribe, recorded the result. If the heart was heavier than the feather, burdened by wrongdoings, selfishness, and lies, it would be devoured. If it was light and pure, the soul would gain eternal life. What the mystery schools taught, however, is that this judgment is not an event that happens only after death. It is an internal test, an archetypal process that occurs every time an initiate is about to access a new level of power or consciousness. By awakening the energy of Feng Fu and connecting with the wisdom of Thoth, you inevitably activate this judgment within yourself. Your deeper consciousness, your higher self, begins to weigh your intentions on the scales of truth. This is not a moralistic test in the religious sense. The scale does not care about the dogmas you follow or the social rules you obey. It measures something much more fundamental, the purity of your intention. Why are you seeking this power? Is it for the greater good, for your own evolution, and for the healing of the collective? Do you wish to use this energy to create, to inspire, to uplift? Or deep in your heart, are there traces of ego, a desire to control others, to prove your worth, to gain an advantage, or to operate from fear? Thoth, in this context, is not an external entity judging you. He is the symbol of your own higher consciousness, the part of you that is incorruptible and knows your deepest truth. There is no way to deceive this scale. You can rationalize your intentions to yourself, but your energetic field does not lie. The vibration of your heart is clear and transparent to the universe. Only the purity of intention, a genuine desire to align with truth and love, allows the energy to keep flowing, expanding, and integrating in a harmonious way. If the heart is heavy, the energy itself contracts. The flow is interrupted, not as punishment, but as a safety mechanism. It is the universe saying, "Not yet, go back, purify your intentions, heal your wounds, and then try again." Passing this inner judgment does not require perfection, but rather radical honesty with yourself and an authentic commitment to growth. It means recognizing your shadows without judgment and consciously choosing to align with the light. Once your heart is weighed and found to be light as a feather, the final door opens. The energy doesn't just flow, it becomes yours to command. Passing this test prepares you for the ultimate revelation, the true purpose behind all of this forbidden knowledge. It is not about becoming a follower of Thoth, but becoming like Thoth. The final goal is not just to read the book of destiny, but to pick up the pen and begin writing it. We've reached the final revelation, the reason why this knowledge was so carefully guarded and considered forbidden for so long. The ultimate secret is not about awakening hidden energies to have mystical experiences or to gain psychic powers. Those are merely consequences, side effects of the real purpose. The true goal of this journey is something far deeper and more transformative. It is about you becoming the scribe of your own destiny, the conscious architect of your reality. Think about Thoth's role. He was not just an observer recording the events of the cosmos in his books. As the master of the word and of universal law, he was the keeper of the very rules that govern creation. He understood that reality is shaped by consciousness and manifested through vibration, frequency, and word. By aligning with this archetypal consciousness, you begin to transcend the state of being, a passive victim of circumstances, and become an active, deliberate co-creator of your life. The energy you awakened at the Feng Fu point, which was purified and released through the throat chakra, and which was validated and refined by the judgment of your own heart, now becomes the ink with which you can write the script of your life. Your words, your thoughts, and most importantly, your feelings and beliefs gain an immensely amplified power of manifestation. You realize you are not at the mercy of the world. The world is at the mercy of your perception and your vibration. The point was considered forbidden, not because it was inherently dangerous, but because it gives you back the full and terrifying responsibility for your existence. It's easier and more comfortable to believe we are leaves in the wind, tossed around by chance, the economy, or the actions of others. But the truth is, you are not the leaf, you are the wind itself. Accepting that means there is no one else to blame, no more excuses. Your life, from this point forward, is a direct reflection of what you choose to create. The power to heal, to create abundance, to manifest harmonious relationships, and to build the life you desire is not in an external ritual, a guru, or a distant god. It resides in your ability to manage your inner state and use your consciousness as the most powerful creation tool in the universe. The wisdom of Thoth, the wisdom of universal laws, now flows through you. You have become the scribe. You are seated before the blank page of the present moment. The journey has brought you here. You found the door, located the key, opened the lock, purified the channel, and passed the test of the heart. The power is in your hands, the ink is fresh, and the page is waiting. The entire universe holds its breath in anticipation, for the creative force that moves the stars now looks through your eyes and acts through your hands. The final question, the only one that truly matters, is no longer what others have written for you, but rather, what will you write? If you made it this far, comment, "The Palace of Wind is open. That way I'll know you truly followed this journey to the end." If you'd like to support the channel more directly, there's a special link in the first pinned comment where you can contribute and help spread more content like this. Any support you can offer means a lot to me and to the growth of the channel. But just the fact that you watched until the end is already a huge help. And you can also share this video with someone who would appreciate it, and don't leave just yet. I've selected a special video for you to click on right now. I'll see you there so we can continue this journey together.